Hi Kim, this is Mike from Stagecoach Road Vintage Sewing Machine, and this is your mom's beautiful Singer 201. As you can see, she's all repainted and looking pretty, and she is just running at her peak performance. Smooth as butter, just really sweet. And this is the final test before we send her out to you, and no doubt you remember how to use this machine, but in case you need a little brush up, and also for the sake of other 201 owners, since we're going to be posting this video on YouTube for people that need a little bit of tutorial. Anyway, so we're just going to run her through her paces, and we're going to go over the various settings, how to use the controls and stuff. All right. Anyway, as I said, this is the final test before we ship her back home, and we're going to start by winding a bobbin. There's already a bobbin in here because I've been testing it. So we're going to put a little bit of thread on another bobbin. I put together 4 bobbins for you. The bobbins that you want, if you need more than these 4, are class 66 bobbins, which are slightly domed on both sides. You start by putting your thread on the bobbin winder spool pin down here, and going between the discs of the bobbin winder tensioner, then up to the bobbin winder up here. Put a few wraps on your bobbin just to hold the thread in place while it winds. It's actually much easier than I'm making it look. Now with the thread going on over the top towards the back of the machine, turn the rubber tire on the bobbin winder until the alignment pin lines up with the hole in the side of the bobbin. Double check to make sure you're still in your tensioner. Press the bobbin winder towards the hand wheel, and this little finger will drop down into the bobbin, and as the bobbin winds, it's going to lift this finger as the thread builds up until when the bobbin's full, it'll pop it loose so you don't make a big tangle of thread. Declutch your machine by turning the knob in the center of the hand wheel towards you, an eighth of a turn or so. You'll feel it hit its stop. And then just give it a little gas. We're not going to wind the whole bobbin because, again, this is just a test. thread the machine. Put your spool on the spool pin. Go into the thread guide at the top here, down between the discs of the tension assembly, all the way around until you catch this little thin check spring. Keep on going until you can pull your thread into the notch here at the top. Then when you pull on your thread, you'll see it move the check spring. You'll know you got it right. Go through the take-up lever from the right towards the left, down to this thread guide on the faceplate. Into this thread guide on the needle clamp. Through this thread guide down below the needle clamp. And then, like the featherweight, the thread goes through the eye of the needle from the right towards the left. Let's see, don't forget to tighten your clutch knob in the center of the hand wheel when you're done winding the bobbin. I always cut a nice fresh end before I try to put it through the eye of the needle, because it just makes it so much easier. Careful not to tangle around anything else. Put your thread between the toes of the presser foot towards the back of the machine, and it's threaded up. The lower thread is already up, but to bring up your lower thread, if it's not, you just put a fresh bobbin on there. All you do is you hold your needle thread loosely and turn the hand wheel towards you one full revolution, and the needle will take the thread down where the hook will pick it up and wrap it around the bobbin and bring up your lower thread. You have to bring your needle all the way to the top again for it to release that the loop that you just brought up. Put your fabric under the presser foot and you're ready to sew. This is your stitch length here. There's a center line here, which is your zero position, where the fabric doesn't move forward, doesn't move backwards, it just stays in the same spot. But going down from there, your stitches get longer and longer and longer and longer until your longest stitches are at the very bottom. Above this line, your stitches get longer and longer and longer, but in reverse. If you want your stitches to be the same length in forward and reverse, you set your stitch length, loosen this thumb screw here, and slide it up until it makes contact inside with the lever here. And then when you go into reverse, it's going to go the same distance in reverse that it went forward. So your stitches will be the same length. I'm just going to leave it wide open. And we're going to go to about 15 stitches per inch. That's a good medium stitch length for regular thread, regular fabric. This is your tension assembly here for your upper thread. And I have it adjusted so that the ballpark tension for regular thread and regular fabric is right around 3. If your stitches look loose and loopy on the bottom, you might want to turn it up a little more towards 4, just a little at a time. And when the thread looks balanced top and bottom, then you've got your tension just right. If it seems like the tension's too light, too heavy, just turn it the other way a little bit until things even out. This knob up here is your pressure on your sewing foot. So depending on what kind of fabric you're sewing, you might want a little more pressure down here, a little less pressure. Let's see, this is your light switch right here. This is your feed drop here. If you want to do some darning or some machine embroidery, you unscrew this thumb screw all the way and it won't pop out, it's locked in there. And then you can drop your feed, and if you want to, you can even put your thumb screw back in, and it will absolutely hold that your feed dogs down so they never come up high enough to move the fabric. But we're going to leave it with the feed up so we can sew. Now the feed dogs will be moving the fabric. Okay, and away we go. What a nice machine. Mom made a really good choice when she bought this machine. Here's something a bit heavier. This is denim, maybe even duck, from a pair of Carhartt work pants. I'm going to sew 4 layers of it just to show you that your machine can handle it. It'll do more. I could probably do 6 or 8 layers of this stuff. Garment leather, canvas, sunbrella, for a little longer stitch length here, let's see. Reverse, forward. That's about it. You want these little felt pads on your spool pins to keep keep your spool from spinning freely when you stop sewing. If you've been going fast and you stop suddenly and your spool pin spins, the thread will get tangled up below the bobbin. But the felt washer helps keep it from doing that. You'll see that there are oil holes along the top here in bobbin winder. There's one here. And if you take off the faceplate, some of the movement points have oil holes, some don't. Basically what you're looking for is anywhere where the metal parts move against each other. Slide against each other, or rock in a fork. Anyway, anywhere that metal parts make contact and rub against each other wants a drop of oil. If you have a sewing machine manual for this machine, it'll have a diagram in there that shows you all the oiling points. Same thing down here. There are some spots that have oil holes and others that you just have to turn the hand wheel and see what moves against each other and put a drop of oil at that location. Inside this cap and this cap, there are gears, steel gears, that every year or so you're going to want to go in and put a little smear of grease on them, just like car grease, like axle grease or whatever. There's 2 screws that hold this cap on and it comes off, 2 screws that hold this cap on and then it comes off. Back here is an inspection plate Inside there are some more movement points that need to be oiled, and there is also a gear right in here that needs a dab of grease. You want to oil about every, say 8 hours or so of sewing. Just one drop in each location. So like if you sew 4 hours one day and 2 hours the next couple of days, that's 8 hours. Or if you sew all day long, you may not need to oil the next morning before you start. Just regular sewing machine oil. Doesn't necessarily have to be top of the line oil, but most of the oil that they sell in craft stores and department stores, sewing machine shops, is decent, and it'll do the trick. If you want to go online and order a brand name that you recognize, might be a little bit better. The motor on this machine does not get oiled. It has grease tubes that take a special Singer motor grease, which you'll have to either get online or from your local sewing shop. These caps come off, and you just pack a little bit of grease in there and put the cap back on. And that grease is made to melt at motor temperature, and there's a wick in each of these two tubes that draws the oil up and oils the moving parts in there. That's about it. I can't think of anything else you need to know. Thanks again